Hi, good afternoon to all of you. I am Vinoda, lecturer in chemistry, MALD GDC Gadwal. So today I am going to discussing about racemic mixture. So what is meant by racemic mixture? So racemic mixture is said to be 50% of the dextro compound and 50% of the levo compound is known as a racemic mixture. So it contains exactly equal amounts of the two enantiomers such as a mixture is optically inactive. That means the net optical rotation is 0. So that's why the racemic mixture is optically inactive. Racemic mixtures are very common. The difficult part is to produce exclusively one enantiomer. So the racemic mixture contains a 1:1 ratio of the two enantiomers such as a dextrorotatory compound and levorotatory compound. So 50% of the dextro compound plus 50% of the levo compound. Such that mixture is called as a racemic mixture. So the process of the formation of racemic mixture is known as a racemization. So the racemic mixture is optically inactive. That means the net optical rotation of the racemic mixture is 0. Any reaction that uses optically inactive reactants and catalysts cannot produce a mixture that is optically active. Any chiral products are formed will be formed as a racemate. So, in the racemization process, optically active compound is converted into optically inactive compound. So, for example, hydrogenation of the 2-butanol molecule. So, in hydrogenation of the 2-butanol molecule produces two enantiomers R2-butanol and other enantiomer is S2-butanol. These two enantiomers are formed in equal amounts, but they are formed in equal amounts, but one of the enantiomer is dextro and another enantiomer is levo. So 50% of the plus isomer and the 50% of the minus isomer. So that's why the net optical rotation of the 2-butanol product is optically inactive. So this is a racemic mixture of the 2-butanol. So there is no energy difference for the attack from the top or bottom phase, and there is no energy difference in the R enantiomer and S enantiomers in the products. Therefore, although the chiral products are produced, the products are formed in equal amounts. This is called as a racemic mixture. Next, the enantiomeric excess, or it's also known as optical purity. Sometimes there will be mixtures where there is more of one enantiomer than the other enantiomer is called as a enantiomeric excess. So in this, one of the enantiomer is major and the other enantiomer is formed as a minor product. The optical purity is defined as the ratio of the observed optical rotation of the mixture to the rotation of a pure enantiomer is called as in optical purity, or otherwise it is also known as enantiomeric excess. This optical purity is usually expressed as a percentage. For example, plus 2-butanol, it has a plus 13.50 degrees specific rotation. A bottle on the shelf contains 2-butanol, which gives a specific rotation of plus 9.54 degrees. So, we can calculate the optical purity. So, the formula of the optical purity is observed rotation divided by pure enantiomer rotation into 100%. So, in the given problem, the observed rotation is plus 9.54 degrees and the specific rotation of the pure enantiomer is plus 13.50 degrees. So, the optical purity equal to 9.54 degrees divided by 13.50 degrees into 100%. So, it is equal to 70.7 percentage. So, this is a optical purity or enantiomeric excess. So, this enantiomeric excess can also be calculated by the formula enantiomeric excess equal to the percentage of the major enantiomer minus the percentage of the minor enantiomer will give some excess, enantiomeric excess. So, the definition of the enantiomeric excess. So, this is a more common way of expressing how enriched a sample is in one enantiomer. The excess of the predominant enantiomer is calculated as a percentage of the entire mixture. So, the formula of the enantiomeric excess. So, it is indicated as EE. So, enantiomeric excess E equal to optical purity or enantiomeric excess is equal to D minus L. So, that means dextro minus levo divided by dextro plus levo compound into 100%. So, notice that a 70:30 ratio of D to L is only a 40% is the enantiomeric excess. So, that means here 70% is a major enantiomer and the 30% is a minor enantiomer. So, that the enantiomeric excess will be equal to the major enantiomer minus minor enantiomer. So, that means 70 minus 30. So, that is equal to 40%. Here this 40% is the enantiomeric excess. So, the next is chirality in mobile systems. So, consider the molecule cis-1,2-dibromocyclohexane. So, if the ring was flat and planar, then an internal plane of symmetry would be exist and this molecule would therefore be a chiral. Cis-1,2-dibromocyclohexane. Here the plane of symmetry is possible. So, that means the molecule is a chiral and it is optically inactive. So, but the ring is not planar. So, it is puckered into a Che conformation with one bromine is in axial position and another bromine is in equatorial position. So, this image, these mirror images are non-superimposable, but this does not mean that cis 1,2-dibromocyclohexane is chiral. So the necessary condition for chirality is the existence of the asymmetric center and non-superimposable relationship. So here in cis 1,2-dibromocyclohexane, these mirror images are, even though non-superimposable, but they are achiral but not chiral molecule. So that's why here this molecule is optically inactive. Molecule is that cannot be optically active if its chiral conformations are in equilibrium with their mirror images. Cis 1,2-dibromocyclohexane exists as a racemic mixture but cannot be enriched to be optically active because the conformational equilibrium will racemize the mixture. So the next, other chiral compounds. So most of the chiral compounds have at least one chiral carbon atom. However, some molecules are chiral, so without having any asymmetric carbon atoms. Their chirality is due to their shape. So the criteria for chirality is necessary condition is presence of the asymmetric center or chiral carbon and the non-superimposable mirror image relationship. But some of the molecule are without asymmetric center also they are chiral. Their chirality is due to their shape. Next, conformational enantiomerism. Certain molecules are so bulky or strained that they cannot easily convert from one chiral conformation to its conformational enantiomerism. Certain molecules are so bulky or strained that they cannot easily convert from one chiral conformation to its mirror image conformation. That is the opposite of cis 1,2-dibromocyclohexane. The molecules can become locked or stuck in one conformation only, which cannot equilibrate. That means it cannot be converted into another conformation because of the bulkiness or strained rings. So this is more common for strained ring system and are bulky substances. So in allenes, this is a class of compounds that contains a C double bond C bonding unit. So this is a allene molecule structure. In allene, C double bond C unit is present. The enantiomers of 2,3-pentadiene. The enantiomers of 2,3-pentadiene. So it is these two enantiomers are mirror images of each other. The middle carbon is in sp hybridization and the other outer two carbon atoms are in sp2 hybridized. The two contiguous pi bonds must lie perpendicular to each other for p orbital overlap. Thus the ends of an allene are perpendicular. So in 2,3-pentadiene is chiral even though there is no chiral atoms. So in allene molecule is not having asymmetric center or chiral center. It is a optically active or it is a chiral molecule. Next, Fisher projections. We have already seen three-dimensional representations using wedges, Sawhorts, and Newman projections. These become less convenient for molecules with many chiral carbon atoms, and we typically use Fisher projections. The Fisher projection. Fisher projections are drawn with a cross with the chiral atom at the center of the cross. The horizontal lines represents wedges, that means the bonds coming out of the plane of paper. The vertical lines represents dashed lines, the bonds going into the plane of the paper. Fisher projections that differ by a 180 degrees rotation are the same enantiomer since the vertical lines are still back and the horizontal lines are still forward. So here the Fisher projection formula of the lactic acid. In lactic acid Fisher projections, so first the chiral carbon is represented with cross mark. In vertical line, the most oxidized group is written at the top of the vertical line, that is the carboxylic acid group, and the methyl group is written at the bottom of the vertical line. In horizontal line, hydrogen and hydroxy groups are present. Fisher projections that differ by a 90 degrees rotation are different enantiomers. Fisher projections have another rule which helps with the above laws. The carbon chain is drawn along the vertical line of the projection with the most highly oxidized carbon substituent at the top. For example, R12 propane diol. In propane diol, the chiral carbon is represented with cross mark and the CH2OH group is most highly oxidized group than the hydroxy group and methyl group, so that the CH2OH group is written at the top of the vertical line, and the less oxidized or lowest oxidized group is methyl than that of the hydroxy group, so that the methyl group is written at the bottom of the vertical line, and the remaining hydrogen and hydroxy groups are written on the horizontal line. So for D configuration, the hydroxy group is written at the right side of the horizontal line. For L configuration, the hydroxy group will be written at the left of the horizontal line. So this is a Fisher projection formulas. Next, drawing the mirror images. To draw a mirror image of a Fisher projection formula, the simply exchange the left and right positions. Keeping the top and bottom groups are unchanged. Fisher projections are very useful to determine if a compound is chiral or achiral. This assumes that Fisher projections are correctly drawn. So for R lactic acid, the at the top carboxylic acid is present, which is highly oxidized group, and at the bottom of the vertical line methyl group is present, which is lowest oxidized group. On the horizontal line hydroxy group is present at the right side of the horizontal line for R configuration. In S configuration, the hydroxy group is present at the left side of the horizontal line. If the mirror image cannot be made to look like the original image by only rotating by 180 degrees in the plane of the paper, then the images are enantiomers and the original compound is therefore chiral. For example, lactic acid. If the mirror image cannot be made to look like the original image by only rotating by 180 degrees in the plane of the paper, then the images are enantiomers. The mirror image are different. For 1,2-propanediol is chiral molecule. So the mirror images are the same. The 2-propanol is a chiral molecule. So the mirror planes are easy to spot in Fischer projections, and the molecules with mirror planes cannot be chiral because in 2-propanol the plane of symmetry is possible. So because of that plane of symmetry, the 2-propanol molecule is a achiral molecule. So that is optically inactive molecule. So another example is 2,3-dibromobutane. So here the mirror image is different. The molecule is chiral because here the plane of symmetry or center of symmetry is not possible. So it is a chiral molecule with 2 asymmetric centers and it is optically active molecule.